I'm very pleased to have in the studio with me, once again, Ani Zonneveld, singer, songwriter, activist, founder, president of Muslims for Progressive Values. MPVUSA.org is the website. You can tweet her at Ani Zonneveld or at MPVUSA. And Ani, welcome back.
Hi, Tom.
It's great to have you with us.
Always.
So you've got a lot going on. I'd like to start out with your hashtag No to Homophobia initiative.
Right.
Tell us about this, and in particular, in the context of Muslims for Progressive Values.
So basically, post Orlando, we decided that this is the right time to push back against the religious institutions, Islamic institutions in America, to once and for all to challenge them to do away with the homophobic teachings that is being propagated in religious institutions and schools. Which we saw was the result, the attacks and the killing at Pulse was a result of self-hatred of one's own identity. And in this particular case, he was a homosexual and obviously had tremendous self-hate and took himself down along with the 49 lives. And so we believe that this is the time for us as Muslims, in particular in America, that we need to do away with these homophobic teachings. And so we've sent out emails, individual emails, inviting religious leaders and representative of religious institutions to sign on to this pledge. And so far, we only have one taker, and he's a chaplain at the Rutgers University. And so we're still working, chiseling away, trying to get the more prominent organizations to sign on, and particularly the major organizations such as ISNA and CARE and ICNA, who actually had the audacity to come on CNN and claim that they've always stood shoulder to shoulder with LGBTQ community, which is not true. So we're challenging them. Well, okay, fine. If that's what you claim, know what are you actually going to do about it?
Right. So the hashtag is No to Homophobia, and you can learn about it at mpvusa.org.
That's right.
Okay. Secondly, you wrote this brilliant op-ed to religious leaders. Tell us about it.
Thank you. And so basically, it was just me calling out their claim that they've stood shoulder to shoulder with LGBTQ community. And for Muslims for Progressive Values, we've been advocating for LGBT rights for more than 10 years, and that we have the track record to prove that. And so what I did was I provided evidence that these organizations were actually not working with us. They've always been on the opposing end when it came to LGBTQ
Actively
rights.
or passively?
Actively.
That's unfortunate.
Yes. And one was the case of ENDA, which is the Employment Non-Discriminatory Act, where ISNA signed on, but ISNA is the Islamic Society of North America, which is an umbrella organization of, I don't know how many mosques, but it's the largest organization in the United States. And what people don't understand is that ISNA and other faith-based organizations, conservative organizations, signed on and pressured for legislators to amend the act to exempt religious institutions. And so therefore...
From discrimination against gay people.
That's right. And so therefore they signed on because they were exempted. And so therefore they could discriminate, whereas the rest of the American institutions, private entities.
So we're having the same battle in the world of Islam as in Christianity, where you've got... Of course. Yeah. But you guys are leading a very, very progressive charge, and good on you for that. And
then there's one example that is really more recent, and that is the case of the trans in Arizona who was, who was bullied by the police force because she wore a niqab and she was at a Black Lives Matter.
So this is a trans Muslim.
Yeah, trans Muslim and a woman. And so the police took her in for no good reason, either in Arizona, other than the fact that she was wearing a niqab and she was walking back from a Black Lives Matter rally. And so she filed a case against the Arizona police, and CARE came and defended her, and then CARE dropped her case when they found out that she was a trans and she was actually having a conflict with a mosque. Right? So for them to actually claim that they've been supporting LGBTQ rights, that's such a stretch.
I've had people from CARE on my TV show a number of times. It's always seemed to me like a very progressive organization. Is this like one of the a lot of organizations have one or two areas where they just don't get it?
Well, I don't know if it's progressive. I think it's not progressive if you only care about your own rights. If all you're talking about is Islamophobia, yeah, that exists too. But if you're claiming Islamophobia and you're trying to defend your right, well, you need to also defend other people's rights. Right. So not defending other people's rights is not progressive.
Yeah, good point. Also, you're running a program. We're talking with Ani Zonneveld. She is an activist, the founder, and the president of Muslims for Progressive Values. MPVUSA.org is the website. You can tweet her at MPVUSA. Ask a Muslim, Islamophobia and Homophobia. Tell me about this program.
We have this monthly series called Ask a Muslim, and and the subtitle of that talk of this lecture series is basically everything your religious institutions and imam did not teach you. And so we basically provide a lot of context to a lot of the theology and culture and history of Islam that is not taught in traditional institutions. So, for example, like women's rights, oftentimes the interpretation is very traditional and very conservative, whereas so we actually go further and we go, for example, the first feminist was Prophet Muhammad's wife, Khadija, and the fact that she, as a businesswoman, really sustained the early converts to Islam. And the fact that Prophet Muhammad himself was in character by character was a feminist before the word feminism existed, or the fact that the first female imam was appointed by Prophet Muhammad. So there's a lot of things.
There were female imams then.
Yeah, 1400 years ago. So.
Now you're a female imam, but they're very rare. Are they?
Yes, they are very rare because the current institution, the traditional Muslim institutions, don't teach us that good stuff. So we are providing a lot of the information and the nuances and the cultural background and societal background from which Islam has been interpreted, which is very Arabicized. And so we are trying to strip away that cultural aspect of it and going back to the pure spiritual values of Islam, which is rooted in the Quran. And it's egalitarian, and it's progressiveness, right? Because it was revolutionary for its time 1400 years ago. Yeah. So that's, exactly. All the good stuff, we're not taught the good stuff, or, this intolerance of the other. I mean, look at the Muslim world. It is a disaster because of the hate speech and because of the intolerance of the other, whoever the other is, right. Whether it be Christians or Sunni against Shia, Shia against Sunni. It's just nonsense.
Yeah. It's time to get back to core values.
Yes, exactly.
And finally, there's a piece of legislation, H.R. 4828. We've been encouraging people to call Congress at 202-224-3121 all morning on this on another piece of legislation that has to do with GMO labeling. But this bill, you should also call Congress and say no to H.R. 4828 because this would allow religious institutions, and I'm guessing it's probably written with Catholics in mind, but it would apply to Muslim institutions as well, allows them to discriminate against gays.
Oh, no, not only that. No, it's about health issues, and it's about women's reproductive rights. It's about basically it's allowing them to dictate what that whether they can sell birth control and health issues. This is the other battle that's going on. It's not just LGBT, but it's also women's reproductive rights. And for whatever reason, it's become a religious battleground, and it shouldn't be a religious battleground. This is about I, as an individual, no matter what religion or how I want to live my life, I should have the right to purchase the birth control pill, or And so this whole religious context as a backdrop on that empowers private institutions to of a particular faith tradition, whether it's Catholic or we've seen, the Hobby Lobby case, for example.
I think so much of this just comes out of good old-fashioned patriarchy.
Absolutely.
Awful stuff. Ani Zonneveld, singer, songwriter, activist, founder, and president of Muslims for Progressive Values. MPV, as in Muslims for Progressive Values, USA.org is the website. You are growing all over the world. It's so cool what you're doing. Ani, thank you for being with us.
It's Thom.
Good talking to you.
To watch more clips from our programs, hit the Watch More Videos button over here. And please be sure to hit the handy-dandy subscribe button so you'll always be up to date. Tag, you're it.